Hi, everybody. Welcome to your Tuesday call. Today we are talking digital content. We're going, yesterday evening, I did a deep dive on actually how the R.E.D system works and why it's more successful than just paying for ads. And it's a pretty clever trick that I've learned along the way, and it still seems to be holding up. And we'll talk about YouTube and their algorithms in a minute. I am joined first by the Chief Executive Officer of this company, Derek Kelly. Good morning, Derek.
Good morning, Lee. Good morning, everyone.
That was awesome, Derek. It was right on time, too. I love that. I am joined by our Chief Operating Officer and all-around good guy, Fred Solomon.
Good morning.
Outstanding. Now let's go 3 for 3. Our new Chief Technology Officer and the person who knows all my passwords. I'm just saying. Daniela Jimenez. Hello, Daniela. Welcome to the team.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me, Lee.
All right, so today we're going to talk about, look, I would love for everyone on this call to sign up. There might be a link down in the description. I'm looking for 2 more people to join sort of the $100 a week digital marketing program. It gets results. We've already proved it. You're also first. We guarantee a listing. All of that aside, today is strictly about, this is part 2 of where I was from yesterday, right? Which is, I showed you the mechanics yesterday, but I really want to talk about the importance and the mechanics of telling your story, being congruent to that story, putting your content out, continually putting that content out. And I want to start with you, Fred, on this topic. So let's start from the point of view, like you create a lot of content, Fred, like you live I know you in real life, right? So let me say this, social media is not real life. There are some people who really do put their social media and real life together, and I wouldn't recommend that at all, ever. I think it's a version of your life, and I think it should be curated to that degree, and it should be protected, right? Protect those that need privacy. And, you know, I try to keep mindful, I'm very mindful of that. The only things that I talk about in regards to friends or people that I love, it's very, these days, unlike the past, it's very controlled. So when you're putting content out, Fred, and you're way more open than I am on social media, like I've seen you like put some heartfelt posts up in regards to using social media platforms with your content to convey your point. What's your point of view on putting content out that's congruent to who you are?
I think that's, people appreciate people who are real and transparent. And the more transparent you are, the more real that you become to them. And so I think it's really important to be who you are and not be afraid to be who you are. If you have a good day, talk about it. If you have a bad day, talk about the lessons that you learned from that bad day. And everybody has good days and bad days. So it's, in my opinion, the more transparent you are, the better.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, Fred. Why is that not clicking back on when I want it to? Yeah, I completely agree with you. And that brings up the bigger question, right? What is too far, right? And this is why I'm going to say it, and I'm recording it. I am very blessed and very grateful to have Derek in my life. Derek will, without a doubt, tell me when I'm going too far with sharing too much. And he's very good about that. And I get that. I get that I can go too far. What I think I have some basic ground rules that I want to share for everybody when it comes to putting out content. And we'll get into the mechanics of content here in just a second. Number 1, you no longer have a political view. If you want clients, you no longer have a political view. I don't care if you lean to the right. I don't care if you lean to the left. I don't care if you believe the world is flat. Keep it to yourself. It will hurt you with clients. Now, with that said, that crazy woman who stormed the Capitol, who was a real estate agent, who got arrested for storming the Capitol, who then made a video, I guarantee she probably got listings from doing all that. But that's a small percentage of what a bigger picture could have been for her. That's my opinion. Okay. And I always use that particular person as an example. With that said, try to stay away from political dealings, try to stay from religious ideology, try to stay away from making opinions about others. I have worked with clients that are very open about their far right or far left thinking. And my opinion on that is you're alienating the crowd. Your goal is to help people. It doesn't matter what color they are, what race they are, what orientation they are, what they believe in ideologically. And if you do, you're probably not a good fit for home advocates. We don't discriminate on any level, period. They are just people who need help, who have not made payments, and it's our job to educate them. That's the basis for which we actually present all of our materials. In fact, the thing that, and I don't know if you've noticed this, Daniela, the one thing that I'm happy about, especially with our Southern California people, is literally the diversity of agents that we have throughout Southern California. And demographically speaking, yeah, people do hire demographically or with race in mind. And I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just somehow how some people are. And we're really lucky because of R.E.D that we have, like, it's an amazing array of people of different sizes and shapes and backgrounds. And I love that. There's something amazing about that for the entire program across the country. And I think people forget that. I think we now live in a world where there's so much anger and hate, and I don't know what it is. I don't know why everybody's so fearful and so angry, but your job is to get past that. Your job is to help people and be congruent to you. If you don't believe that message, then my advice is don't shoot the content on it. Nobody's going to buy it. You might as well go back to an ABC principle. If you sign up with R.E.D and go, yeah, Lee, I don't believe in your ideology, but I want to do like really aggressive sales videos, I'll do them. I'm not going to wear the shirt while I do them. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I might wear a biker jacket or something. I have said it and take it as tongue in cheek. The one thing that I'm most jealous of over the last 3 years from a marketing standpoint is QAnon. Like, whoever invented that in a marketing room is a content marketing genius. He made a group of people believe that Biden was a robot, that JFK Jr. is returning on a certain, like, there, it's so outlandish from a content perspective, so outlandish that it actually worked, which means the further you go to convey your message with as much passion as you can, it will reach your right audience. And sadly, there was an audience for that. And if you're on the call and you believe that, cool, but I'm pretty sure JFK Jr. is not coming back. I'm pretty sure he's pretty dead. And the world is round, not flat. Also, I just thought I'd say that out loud. You have to look at all these things. I look at that much content every day. I see what people are putting out. So we go back to kind of where we started with Daniela, which is I don't have a problem saying how I feel about, books I've written or singing my tune or doing it my way. I'm not changing that. Now, can I tone down the old version of me, which sort of had a problem with everybody who did coaching in the real estate world? Yeah, I can tone it down. I don't need to talk about it. I can win with dignity at this point, I suppose. So let's now talk about breaking down actual content. Let's talk about the mechanics with you, Daniela. Under 3 minutes, there's a fine line in my world. I think if you're not going to cut them under 3 minutes, then you go to the next level and you keep them, what is it, like 13 or 14 minutes is like the next cutoff. Do you have some kind of, do you know for sure? I think it's over 30 seconds, like you want 31 seconds because that's a 30-second look and that changes the algorithm. And then under 3 minutes is a different set of algorithm changes. And then you want to be slightly under 15 minutes, I think. I think I've got that right.
Well, so each platform has its own requirements, for the algorithm. And it depends on if you're shooting content for ads. Like there's the whole world of ad content. And that's totally different from your regular organic content that you're posting on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram. So Facebook, for example, wants it to be over 3 minutes. They say that's what works best for them.
It's 3 minutes, 1 second. That's what it is. Yeah, right.
Yes, exactly. And YouTube also is more long form. However, Instagram is extremely short form. I'm not on TikTok, but TikTok is, huge now. And those are 5 seconds, 15 seconds. Like it's a totally different type of content for this audience, right? For real estate, we focus more on long form, like YouTube, Facebook. We got some radio hosts here, the podcast form. This is all long form because it makes more sense with the type of audience you guys have. You always want to think about your audience. Who are you talking to? That personal brand we were talking about. How are you teaching? How are you being relevant? How are you being useful? And also with content, there is a certain level of entertaining. You want to be entertaining. You don't want to be boring. You want to have something interesting to say. You want to say it in an interesting way. Lee's up here talking. I'm laughing, like I have my microphone off, but I'm just laughing out loud because he knows how to keep it interesting. For someone who it's funny because I just recently moved to Vista here in North County, San Diego, and we just bought a house. And the owners of this house, it was like almost a distressed property, and I had never heard that term before I started working with Lee. And so, funnily enough, we went through a whole process of buying this house, and these people had a lien, and it was complicated. And our realtor really came through and really helped us out a lot. And then a few months after we did that, my father's the one who bought the house, and my husband and I moved here from Brazil, and we're helping him. So after we went through that whole process, then I started learning about all of the, I started learning about what you all do, what you educate about. And Lee made that so entertaining and so fun for me, because he has his personality. He's able to do that, and so if there's one thing that I recommend, I'm also a content creator. I have my own platform. It's all in Portuguese because I was living in Brazil. So I don't have my English content up for y'all yet, but it's coming if you guys want to learn languages like Spanish or Portuguese. Just there's the literacy of the tech literacy, learning how to use the tools. And then there's also the literacy of what you want to say in your content to be effective, be entertaining, be relevant, like Lee says, look at the other content that's out there, not to copy it, but to have your own take. You always want to try to see things a new way.
That's a responsible marketing answer. I'm going to interrupt there. And I've said this before. Responsible marketing people like Daniela write original content. That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. Ooh.
It's a lot of work. Pros like me look at other people's stuff and steal blindly from it. I'm just going to be, and Daniela knows this, and I think Fred knows this. For the last 3 weeks, Fred's been giving me the content of what we're going to talk about on Red calls each week. Like Fred just says, you know what you should talk about? Cool. That's what we're talking about. Thanks for not giving me a headache before the first one. I generally know before the first Red video, what, it's going to be a market update. It's going to be, click here, do this, very basic stuff. Are any of those videos you've now this fifth week, you've been with us for about a month or so now. Are the videos boring?
No, they're not boring. They're very interesting. I feel like one thing I would suggest for the advocates who shoot.
They're on here.
Yeah, I know. I see all their names. That's what's amazing. I'm glad it's amazing to finally get to talk to all of you because I watch all of your videos. I would say if there's a way to be even more you, if that makes sense, because I feel like people it's a practice, and it's great that you're doing it with Lee, and Lee's really good at drawing people out, but try to loosen up even a little bit more. Try to tell your story a little bit more. I want to know who you guys are. I want your background to come through. I want to know your expertise. There's some people who do a really great job. Let me see I thought I saw Antonio Atoche.
Oh, Antonio's a beast. So's Terrell when it comes to that. Like those are
Terrell's
15-minute videos that get cut down. Those can go.
I cut Terrell's into two. Terrell's was 2 videos. Fred Howard is amazing.
Yeah, he is.
He's amazing. So some people are. Fred actually cracked me up when he turned on his camera. He was like, "What's going on in internet land?" I was like, "See, that's amazing." When you say, greet people, talk to people, there's real people on the other side of the screen. That's who you're talking to. And it can be someone like me who is just someone who benefits from this information. I'm not in that predicament that, the people you're helping are in predicaments. But I can still benefit from a lot of this information that you are all putting out into the world.
I think it's one of the most valuable tools to the people that sign up for R.E.D. and for the last 2 of you that are signing up. And I don't care if it's insurance like Sally or it's land development like Alex. I'm sure the Alex conversations are way lofty. Those are rapidly getting out of control. And we haven't gone deep dive on actual development yet. I think it's important that you are the one editing the videos and not me, because I would make them make sense to me when I edit. And I already understand everything. Like I already have the expertise. I already know the story that I was trying to tell when I shot the content. I didn't really learn this. I had done sort of a vanity project with Derek a couple of years ago just for fun. And I realized by shooting for an entire day, I'd wind up cutting it back up into stories that were sequentially out of order, but it's a story that I saw happen as I shot the content. I don't think you really, if you're shooting individual content, let it go and see where it goes and then cut it up later. I mean, everybody makes a big deal about, well, the editing is the hard part. No, it isn't. That's really with the software that's out there, especially, something like Microsoft Editor, which is brutally simple to operate and drop in cuts.
I even like Facebook and Instagram, even if it's just with your cell phone, just like a talking head video, cell phones have amazing quality nowadays. If you put yourself with good lighting and a simple background, just your cell phone, and start posting even, 3-minute videos about your niche, right? Because what we're talking about is each person's niche. Alex's niche is land development. Sally's niche is insurance. Like everyone has their own particular niche, and that's where you position yourself as an expert.
Yeah, I completely agree about that.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to do something very nice. I'm going to have Daniela put her email up for those of you that are not R.E.D. And perhaps you can talk her into editing and sending you back a video that you can post on your own. She does way more than that for me. She actually posts and she understands all my insanity. So it makes my day a lot easier. But if you are on a budget, you can't afford $100 a week for the year, then she can put her email address up and you can contact her. And you can also come to the event and meet her. That's also going to be a thing. I'm going to make her available on a very limited basis, as long as it doesn't affect me and my day, because I feel more important. I'm just being perfectly honest. I like my week the way it is right now. As soon as I get my new girlfriend, I'm going to be really happy. Once that Anagi scooters. Yeah. Wait, here's where I'd look in the camera and go, Daniela, feel free to edit right here.
Yeah. You need to cut this.
You need to cut this, because she can, and she watches me. For those of you who've never had it happen during your session, I can see where the editing has to happen in my mind. And I'll put that in, which takes us to the discussion of what should you do? Pick up your cell phone and talk into it for 15 minutes on a topic, and then get Daniela to cut it up for you. And then take that video and run it for the week. Rinse, repeat. That's really what, I mean, I do more. You should watch the video from yesterday. I actually gave away a lot of trade secrets for the second straight time on how R.E.D works. And she and I are currently trying to figure out why YouTube is there's something to be said about what's going on YouTube and shooting 30-second videos in front of your, like I'm now on a deep dive of trying to understand algorithms of YouTube. And my final answer might be Sprizzy, I suspect, again, but YouTube has become difficult again, and they seem to be favoring their bigger content creators in the search patterns, which is not beneficial. With that said, I'm going to turn it back to you, Fred. You are a beast with hot topics. And I suspect it's because you are so boots on the ground talking to your clients all the time. So when you're, like, say, doing your radio show on Saturday, or you put a midweek post up, or anything that you do that you get crazy reactions to the stuff you post. I mean, crazy reactions, like people comment, they are engaged. People are only like that on my timeline when I put a picture of me and my daughter up, and I suspect it's because they're in more shock that I'm an actual human being. See, there you go. That was just for you, Daniela. How do you, is it based on what you're hearing off the street, or is it based on what you're seeing or what you're experiencing when you're creating content? Where do you pull your topics from?
I pull my topics from things that frustrate me in the business. And when I have a neighbor who has a realtor recommending to him that he should sell to this investor and not look out for the client's best interest, meaning the most amount of money in the seller's pocket, and they're trying to double end a commission, then I go off on a rant about how some people are in the industry, but I do it with the intention to say, hey, look, not everyone's like this, but these are the people that you have to look out for. And then I go off and say some crazy things like, take a look at the realtor's bank account, take a look at their credit report, do a background check on them. I know this sounds crazy, but I truly feel this way because I really think that a lot of the information and advice that comes out of certain people's mouths is because of the amount of money in their bank account, or 80% of the realtors do 20% of the business, and 20% of the realtors do 80% of the business. So the one thing that I can guarantee you that the successful realtors are doing is always being honest, always. And so my stories are based on things that happen and things that are frustrating in the industry. Oh, I have 14 offers on this property. Oh, you do? Well, why don't you fax them over to me? No, I can't do that. Then why are you telling me you have 14 offers on the property? Because you asked. Because you asked. Okay, great. Well, there I go for being stupid and asking. No, those are the things that, there's just a lot of stuff in the real estate.
Well, we're battling. Okay, so I'll keep saying it. It goes back to the South Park episode, right? We're battling a bad image, right? What was the point of making home advocates? Yes, it's kind of like what I created with David Bartels. Yeah, it's kind of like the monster program. But the truth of the matter is, I would really love to see agents adhere to the code of ethics, which is being an advocate. When somebody asks for advice, call an agent, not the bank. I mean, I would love, maybe that's a shirt idea, Derek. Call an advocate, not a bank. I mean, that's a great marketing message. Ooh, that might be this week's message. Ooh, see how they happen for me? Just like that on the screen. So everybody get ready. This thing where people feel safer calling an entity where they owe them physical money, thinking after hearing a recording that says, hey, everything that's used on this call will be used to collect on a debt, they're going to trust that person over a real estate agent. Do you realize how mind-boggling that sentence is? As a guy who's a banker and an asset manager, like career, I will do anything to collect money and make my bonus, anything. And I've done it. And things that I am completely ashamed of, and things that I have said that I can never take back, that I'm sure I have to go shovel dog poop at like a rescue center as an amends for the rest of my adult life, just to justify the scale of the crap I have done to distressed homeowners. Yes, Daniela probably liked that one. She might leave that one in. But that's the truth, right? How do we change that image, Fred? I mean, how do we make that happen?
What I always tell my clients when I'm talking to them and I'm not in this business, putting my boots on the ground and doing all the work that you have to do, there's a lot of, I love what I do. This year, my goal was, because I worked so crazy hours the last 2 years, was, too much work is not good and too much free time is not good. So can you have a happy medium? And what I tell my clients is, when I'm about, one of these days, I'm just going to start like a government agency. I'll go talk to Fannie Mae. I'll go talk to Federal Home Loan Mortgage Corp, Freddie Mac. I'll go talk to FHA, and I'll say to them, you know what you guys need? You need an 800 number where people can call up with their questions and get straightforward, honest answers from someone who's been there, done that. I mean, wouldn't it be great if there was an 800 number that you could call and get honest answers, whether it be on the real estate side of things or whether it be on the loan side of things? That, to me, is what is needed in this industry that we are in, because there's too much guessing, too much, I need to decipher what this person is really telling me. And, especially when it comes to negotiating the home inspection items, the SPQ, seller property questionnaire, the TDS, the transfer disclosure statement. On the real estate side of things, what happens if the property doesn't appraise for the purchase price? Okay, how do you negotiate all those things? And is your realtor who's representing you giving you solid advice in those areas? Now, in this market, there's not too much negotiating because it's the best sellers market I've ever seen in my entire lifetime. But the same thing holds true on the mortgage side of things. What's the rate? What are the closing costs? Is there a credit towards the closing costs? What is the APR? How do you know what a zero cost loan? Just all these things that are in the process. Why should you deal with the owner of a mortgage company? Why should you, not deal with a bank? Who has the best rates for jumbo? All those kinds of things. And are they going to close on time? Are they going to make you look good? Do they answer their phone? All those things are things that you just need to know. And as a consumer, it's like, are you kidding me? There's no way these consumers know all the questions to ask. And yet they're going with faith.
I don't think the agents do either half the time, right? I mean, I'm not being a jerk about this, but the 20% and those that are on the call, like, the point of doing all this education and constantly being educated is so that you can answer these questions. Most agents don't go to that much trouble. Shockingly, all of us on this call, and probably even you watching this video, have encountered agents that you go, how do they make their heart beat and how do they make oxygen happen in their lungs? Like, it doesn't look like they have enough brain mass for automatic functions in their body. And that's the sad reality of the real estate industry. That's the person with the listing. That's the person I'm working with who's the buyer's agent. Like, how do we, there's no checks and balance. I mean, yeah, we can stand out and yeah, we can be honest. And I go back to what Miles is saying about being real, right? And it's right. People are afraid to tell the truth. And I say this all the time. I saw this a lot when I went through a weird cycle of going online to meet someone. Everybody says they want honesty in a relationship. Yes, you do. The question is, do you want the truth? And the truth is really painful. And the truth causes a lot of bad conversations. It's not about being honest. I'm a brutally honest person, but I'm also going to tell you the truth. My job at that moment is I also need to see your side of the story. You got to see it from the other perspective. This is a relationship. I always say that working with a client is just like dating or trying to get married. It is a relationship. And the quicker people see that, instead of I'm just trying to close the deal for one night, well, it'll probably work, but that's not a lifetime client. I mean, it's the same analogy. It works perfectly well here. I'm trying to create a relationship. And there's this weird thing about honesty and truth. You can be honest all day and not tell people the truth. I'm saying you got to tell the truth. You got to be, the more truth you put into it, the more you will be respected at the end of the day. Am I wrong in that thinking, Fred?
Well, I'll give you an example that happened to me yesterday. As you know, I've been trying to sell my house. I've been getting it ready. 7 months of workers, building swimming pools, landscaping. Oh my God, it's just been nonstop for the last 7 months. I was going to have 2 days of open houses with the opportunity for realtors and prospective buyers to come to my open house in 2 days. I knew I was going to get multiple offers, but I had a realtor, and I'm in, the Palm Springs area, and I had a realtor who was driving from, where was it? Dana Point. And he buys these short-term vacation rentals. I had my house originally listed for $875. And then there were some sales in my neighborhood that pushed up the value to 1.2 to 1.4 million, literally overnight. And so the guy comes out here and he says, Fred, I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate your transparency. So we got to the end after we'd been talking for 15 minutes, and he goes, I want to buy, I have another listing in my neighborhood. It's my neighbor's daughter's house, and they listed it for 1.4. Beautiful, really nice lake views, and it's beautiful out here. It's just during the summer, it's brutal, but this time of year, it's amazing. So anyways, the guy wants to buy my house and my neighbor's daughter's house. I said, you know what? I can't tell you how many people I had that wanted to come see the house, but my house wasn't ready yet. I still have to paint the outside of it. I still had things I need to do. Here's where I became transparent. I said, look, no one else has seen my house yet. I know that if I had an open house, I'd probably get some more offers. But I appreciated that you drove all the way out here from Dana Point, and you were obviously highly motivated to get your offer accepted. I appreciate that. I'm going to reward you. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you give me a full price offer, I'm not even going to have the open house. He was so excited when I said that. And the next thing you know is like, he goes, Fred, I really appreciate your transparency, and I really appreciate people who are honest. We need more listing agents in the world like you. And I said, well, to be honest with you, I'm primarily a mortgage lender, but I do own a real estate company as well. But that's 15% of my business, 85% of my business is mortgage. He goes, well, we need more mortgage and real estate people like you. And I said, well, thank you. And that was the end of the story. So I'm accepting the offer today, and I'm
Congratulations.
Yeah. So
Marvin on the call. Marvin's like liquidating all his property down in San Diego too. I don't know if Marvin made it on the call, but Marvin was like he's like, I've seen enough of the market. I'm getting out. It doesn't matter how much more it can go up. I'm getting out in case it goes sideways. And I go, I don't blame him. He goes, it's a lot of money and I'm really happy. And my question, I guess in a long drawn out way, we'll take questions from all of you guys and see what you want to talk about. But I guess to wrap up this recording that Daniela will now sift through to turn into something. And you can ask your questions of any one of us. We're happy to answer them for the next few minutes. I just want to let me turn the recorder off. I think we have more than enough content to make this